Today we'll be talking about images of the nervous system. Mostly we will talk about the peripheral nerves. We will look at the nerve cell body as well as some myelinated axons that go through, talk about the cells of it, the different layers of it, and we'll be able to see those on the specific images that you'll be studying. If this information is useful, please subscribe to the YouTube site and tell your friends. Thank you. Images of the nervous system. Hi, I'm Larry Johnson. I'm a professor in Veterinary Integrated Biosciences, BIBS, at Texas A&M University. This is part 1 and part 2 of images of the nervous system. If this video is important to you, please consider subscribing to it. Now, the function of the nervous system is communication, and this is brought about because of special signaling properties of neurons. They're irritable, they're responsive, they transmit, and long processes. Some of these are a meter long. Look how long they are, from the spinal cord all the way down to the tip of your toe. And here we have the cell body, and this is where we will have nissl substance, dendrites to receive input, axon to transmit to the terminal end where they may innervate with muscle or some other tissue. Now we have the central nervous system, which is a cerebral, cerebellum, and the spinal cord coming all the way down. The peripheral nervous system is the cranial nerves, spinal nerves, and the ganglia. And in the peripheral nervous system, you have Schwann cells. There's one here, one here, one here, which are myelinated, the axons. In the central nervous system, these are oligodendrites that myelinate the axons coming down. So if we look at the cerebellum cortex, we see a gray matter on the outside and white matter on the inside. The white matter is the connections, the plumbing that takes things from the cells, and the gray matter out throughout the body. So that is the axons leaving out through there, and dendrites interacting. And here we see in the gray matter, which is right in this through here and here, we can see one cell body and satellite cells in through there. Again, the gray matter, white matter, and the neural pil is the interactions between the nerves that facilitate such a complicated organization of the nervous system. In the gray matter, we see the cells. These are the cell bodies of the cell. So as we look at the cerebral cortex, we see the gray matter on the outside and the white matter in the center. And the white matter is composed of myelinated axons. And you see the axons here. You also see maybe some nuclei of cells or support cells in here, but these are the network that allows communication between the nerves to occur and for the message to go out. But if you look in the gray matter itself, you'll see the cells. So these are nerve cells. You can see the nucleus and nucleolus. Sometimes you can see nissl substance around them, and you can still see the tracks that project out through there. So the cells are in the gray matter, which is on the outside. The white matter is on the center, which is what transmit the information coming from the cells. And here you can see the cells that are in there. So these are the cell bodies of the neuronal cells that are there. So if we look at a spinal cord, we can see that there's an H right through there. This is the posterior surface and the anterior surface, and there's various membranes that attach. We have a dorsal root and a ventral root coming into the spinal cord. And here we can see the spinal cord. Here's the spinal cord right here and here with the H that we see, the H of gray matter, and the white matter is actually on the outside. So the cells are on the inside and the connections are on the outside. In the very center here we have the spinal cells which secrete the spinal fluid that is right in through here. So if we take a look at that, here we can see the spinal cord, and we see the H as we see there. We can also see the cells that are in the very center. These cells are the ones that secrete the fluid. Now the spinal cord is just opposite of the brain. The brain has, as I said, the cells on the outside, but in the spinal cord the cells are in the inside. So the gray matter is on the inside and the white matter is on the outside. And you can see the axons are these myelinated axons that you have in through here, and here we see the cell bodies. These are the cell bodies. Here we can see one with the nucleus and the nucleolus of it, with the initial substance inside there. So we can see that. We can see the cells that secrete the fluid in the center of the H, as we can see. So this is gray matter, white matter, cells, transmission portion. So if we look at the next slide, we see these are the cell bodies. You see nissl substance. This is nissl substance here. This is the nucleus and the nucleolus, and then these are support cells. So this is a motor neuron from the ventral horn. So this is the action one that tells the muscle what to do. And then if we look on slide 17, we can see then again the spinal cord, the ventral and the dorsal horns. So the motor and the sensory portion of that. And we can see nissl substance in the cells that are in the center. In the gray matter, you can see the nissl substance in through there. Nissl substance is really ribosomes, mostly associated with the left and the plastic reticulum, but a host of these ribosomes, and that the ribosome is what gives it the dark color that it has here. So if we look at the spinal cord, this is the vertebrae that comes around here, muscles associated with it, but the spinal cord, and these are some of the spinal nerves that are coming out. This is the spinal cord and some spinal nerves in through there, and these are bones. It's bones here and here. We see bone marrow here and here. These are vertebrae, and then this is muscles that are attached to it. So if we look at it again, we can see that the cells are in the center, that is the cell bodies of the neurons, and so this is the gray matter, and the white matter is on the outside where you have the myelinated axons going to the outside in there. There's a nice cell here. You can see the nissl substance in here, patches of blue in through there, which is the cell body, nucleus, nucleolus, nucleus from here to here. There's nucleolus in through here as well. And we can see these nerves. So in these nerves, if you take a look at these nerves, again, you can see that you have myelinated axons in through there. And if we look in here in this spinal cord, we can see gray matter. These are the cells of white matter, and you can see the axons with where the myelin has been removed, that the myelin sheath is. So again, we have the white matter on the outside, the gray matter where the cell bodies are in the center. So if we look at the spinal cord, not only do we see the H as we see the ventral and dorsal portions of it, but we also see the layers. So the outer layer is a dura mater, and then subdural space, and then you've got the carotenoid, and then the subcarotenoid space, and then you see the nerves are attached to the spinal cord after that. And so if we look at our specimen, here's the spinal cord in through there, spinal nerves, then we have the dura mater here, the carotenoid mater here, we have cranial nerves, and we have the pia mater right on the inside here. So if we take a look at slide 17, and here again we can see this is a spinal cord, this is a dorsal root ganglia, we'll see in a minute. This is cranial nerves, and if we go to it, this is bone in through there, and we can see the different layers. This will be the dura mater right up next to bone, subdural space, and then the carotenoid mater here, subcarotenoid space, and then the pia mater that actually touches there. And here we can see the white matter and the gray matter. The gray matter being in the center is where the cells are, as we saw a while ago. And so if we take a look at 18, we can see again, the carotenoid matter, and through here these nerves with the myelin sheath around the axon and dura mater, and then subdural space in through here. So if we look at slide 18, we can see the different layers. This is the carotenoid mater here, and then the subcarotenoid space, and through which you have the nerves located in through there, the spinal nerves. And then I don't see the pia mater here, because I don't see the spinal cord in through there per se. And then we have some dorsal root ganglion cells that we see here. There's one there. Let me see if I can go over to this one and see. You can see the ganglion cells themselves with the initial substance and the nucleolus in there. And then here's some myelinated axons that we have there. And we're supposed to see the dorsal root, which I just showed you. And now the next thing we're supposed to see is the peripheral nerves, and we can see there's peripheral nerves that have ganglion cells. This is in the pancreas, and this is in the cystic duct of a monkey. And here we can see the ducts. This is a vein, pulmonary vein, and this is a common duct, and this is a cystic duct. So we're looking right in this region, right in through 29-29-1. I don't think I have 29-29-1 in here, but that's where it's going to be. And there are different layers you got to. So if we look also at 17, we can see the dorsal root ganglia. So if we take a look at that, we can see these are cell bodies. You can see the nucleolus and the nucleus, and the darker staining. We can see myelinated axons in through there. It's located right in here in this 17. So we want to look right in here, this number 17. We want to take a look right into this area right here, and we'll be able to see the cell bodies, initial substance. We see myelinated axons in through there, as through here. So lots of these cell bodies which are in the dorsal root. These are bipolar cells. They go from the spinal cord to the tissue that is being innervated there. So if we look, it's a central nervous system, and of course there is a peripheral nervous system as well. And here we see the peripheral nervous system. This is the see the cells are in the gray matter, the white matter is on the outside. This is the dorsal root ganglia that we see a bipolar cell in through there, and the sensory one comes in through there. So the sensory cell, the axon, is down here, sends a message into the brain. So if we see this is ganglion cells in a monkey, this is one of those cells. There's initial substance, there's the nucleus and the nucleolus, and these are satellite cells or support cells in through here. You see myelinated axons. Here's a longitudinal view of a myelinated axon that we see there, and these are nice cross sections of the myelinated axon. If we look in the Auerbach's plexus in the muscle layer between the longitudinal circular muscle layer of the gut, we will see a plexus of cells. This is the Auerbach's plexus. You see the nucleus, nucleolus, and a little bit of initial substance around there. Here's again, this is in the rat. We can see two plexi here. One is the Meissner's plexus, which is in the submucosa, and then the Auerbach's plexus, which is in between the two muscle layers of the muscularis externa. So the Auerbach's plexus controls muscularis externa, where the Meissner's plexus controls the muscularis mucosa. And if we look at other tissue, this is in the pancreas, and this is in the cystic duct. You can see ganglion cells there. These are satellite cells in through there, and there's a ganglion cell, there's a nucleolus. And we take a look at that one. This is one that we don't have in a set, but we have here, this is the bile duct, common bile duct, this is the cystic duct, and this is the portal vein. So we're going to look right here at this cell in through here. We're going to see, I think there it is. We will be able to look in here and see that there are cells in through there. So we see the columnar cells associated with it. We see blood vessels, but also we can see the ganglion cells. The ganglion cells, which are located somewhere in here. Okay, here they are, right here. These here are kind of grayer looking compared. There's another one right there, the other two right there, compared to the fibroblasts that we see in there. These are fibroblasts in through there. They are smooth muscle in through here, smooth muscle bundles as well. But these are fibroblasts over through here and like that. So, but these are smooth muscle cells here with the corkscrew nucleus is smooth muscle. But there's a ganglion cell, there's a nucleus, there's a nucleolus that we can see, and so there's different layers of the nerve. The outer side is the epineurium, or outside. The perineurium is what surrounds the nerve and is a boundary between their tight junctions. It's a blood, a peripheral blood barrier. And then the endoneurium is what touches the Schwann cells inside there. So we see that this is a perineurium. The fibroblasts are making that barrier in through there. Here we see nuclear Schwann cells. There may be a fibroblast or two in there. But what's on the inside is the endoneurium. But this is the perineurium out through here. And here we can see the fibroblast is part of the perineurium making junctions. Unlike typical fibroblasts, they don't make junctions. But they make occluding junctions, tight junctions, in the case of the perineurium. Here we see a Schwann cell, a myelinated axon in through there. This is another Schwann cell that has some unmyelinated axons, 1, 2, that we can see that it has. So if a Schwann cell myelinates axon, one cell only myelinates one axon. In contrast, if it's non-myelinated, then one Schwann cell may accommodate several axons that are coming through there because they don't have to wrap the membrane around them. So in our EM54, we see the myelin sheath, we see the axon. So these would be the unmyelinated axon, and then to be the myelinated axon, and it swirls of the cytoplasm of the Schwann cell around it. So this is nervous tissue. Another one you see here, Schwann cell and the peripheral nerve that you see projecting in through there. So on a longitudinal view of the nerve, we can see the node rhombiates where one Schwann cell ends and another one begins, and you can see it right through there, drawing it. The axon continues on beyond a given Schwann cell. Where you have incomplete compaction of the myelin sheath, you have these Smith-Landerman clefts. And so here we see the node rhombia here, Smith-Landerman clefts, node rhombiae, Smith-Landerman clefts, and these are fibroblasts that would be in there, or there'd be Schwann cells that we see in there. In our slide 5, we're supposed to see Schwann cell nuclei in through there. The neurolamina is where the myelin sheath has been removed. This is the axon, and this is where the myelin sheath was. If we take a look at this image, we see a nerve, a longitudinal view of nerve. This would be the perineurium out through there. This would be endoneurium around and through here. And we can see some node rhombiae. So the axon is in the middle, the kind of light and dark here are the myelin sheath. Here you can see the axons coming down the center in through there. These are maybe fibroblasts, or it could be Schwann cell nuclei that you see through there. But here's another node rhombiae that we see through there, another one right here that we can see where one Schwann cell ends and another one begins. Here's a nice nodal rhombia here and there that we can see. And then here we see this is cross sections of the nerve. You can see the myelin sheath on the outside and the axon in the center, and this would be fibroblasts of the endoneurium. And then here we can see this would be the perineurium, and through there and there, and then blood vessels we have there, and then these are myelinated axons. The gray is an axon, the dark around there is a myelin sheath, and we can maybe see some nuclei of the Schwann cells that are in there. So our last slide shows you the myelineural junction, and this is where we see some axons coming down, and then so these are muscle cells, these are the axons, and these are the motor end plates. So these are the motor end plates that interacts with these muscle cells to tell them to get going, and we see the end feet at the very end of these structures. So we see those. You can see the axons coming through there and there and there and there, as you see, and these would be the motor end plates on these individual fibers that are in here. So these are muscle fibers as a cell that we see there. And here we can see these are skeletal muscle fibers. So a skeletal muscle is a multinucleated cell, and you can see where one nerve would innervate more than one fiber to get the whole group of fibers collected together. These are axons, and these are motor end plates at the very end. So these are the motor end plates that we can see attached. You can see the striations of the smooth muscle and the nuclei thereof. But I think this is the best one that we have in view, is a motor end plate that we see. Again, the striations you see, motor end plate, and so one nerve would innervate more than one skeletal muscle cell. And so with that, we conclude the images of the nervous tissue, part 1 and 2. Again, if this is useful, please consider subscribing to the YouTube site. Thank you.